The Oklahoma City Thunder head into Philadelphia riding a 11-game winning streak, and this game is going to have a little bit of everything. You've got an MVP run that's happening in real time. You've got a revenge game storyline that we'll get into, and you've also got the Thunder team that's starting to look like the most complete team in basketball, right on time. But the big story for this one is going to be the McCAIN revenge game. I know they're probably going to do some tribute video for him. This trade from the 76ers is probably an all-time blunder, and Sam Presti pretty much ended up pulling another move for us similar to the iHeart move. I feel like it's just as important. This is the first time going back to Philly since being traded for him at the deadline, and honestly, this is one of those games that he'll be circling, of course, before tip-off, and reality is McCAIN didn't look like this in Philadelphia. He was a lot less consistent. He dealt with injuries. He averaged just over 6 points per game. Now in OKC, he's looking like a completely different player, 2.3 points per game, nearly 47% shooting, and 44% from the three-point line. And most importantly, he's looking as confident as you can possibly have him. I mean, he's looking comfortable, and the Thunder in itself, as an organization, has huge belief in him. I feel like the 76ers kind of gave up on him, just had him as a corner shooter and didn't really rely on him that much. And that's the biggest difference with this Thunder team. They don't just develop the players. I feel like they unlocked them with having Mark Dagnall as the coach. Even, he said it the best. He's integrated well. He understands the team. He's already kind of a fan favorite in the locker room. And now the question is going to be, what does he look like in a revenge game like this? Because we've seen in NBA revenge games like this, when you have a young player that gets traded, finds his rhythm, and then comes back with something to prove. And I feel like McCAIN, he's going to be on that type of movement there. And hopefully he gets at least 20 points. That's my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. As far as other storylines going into this, SGA MVP run is getting louder and louder. Every single day, it feels like this game still revolves really around him, and this team does as well. He just dropped 40 in his last game, 20, and then 40, and then 20. So we'll see if he gets 20 tonight. Of course he will. He's 63 straight road 20-plus point games. That's an insane amount of consistency. That's not just all-star level, dominance. That's more MVP, all-NBA, first team dominance night after night. Shai controls the pace, the tempo, shot selection, all the clutch moments. I mean, he pretty much turns it on whenever he wants. And right now there's a real argument for him, obviously, to be the best player in the world for basketball. I know there's a lot of disagreement with Jokic fans, Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic especially, because obviously Shai's not just a scorer. The way his numbers pop out, it's more about the efficiency. It's more about the control of the game, and it's really winning basketball. That's really what he's focused on, and that's why this team is sitting at 56-15 with the second most injuries in the NBA. OKC is still rolling. They haven't lost a game since Valentine's Day. You have to really let that sink in a little bit because they're beating teams with defense, with depth, with execution late in the games. And they've really, yet to get on an offensive role recently here. And once they start doing that, especially with J-Dub's return, it's going to be really, really scary. We've seen multiple blowouts, especially early on. And with J-Dub being back, after missing that hamstring injury time, I mean, he's expected to return tonight. And what we can look forward to is a secondary scorer, a playmaker, shot creation, versatility on defense. And he's one of the most important pieces on this team. And now that we're adding him back into this type of system, it's going to be really dangerous for the team, for the whole league. And the only downside right now is Ajay Mitchell and his suspension. He did get a 1-game absence, so he is suspended for tonight. And that obviously came from that scuffle against the Wizards team. And we just can't fall for stuff like that. If you watch the game, you kind of already know what happened, but the team does play with an edge. And I feel like the NBA hasn't done a great job of protecting the OKC Thunder players, because he really didn't seem like, any of our players did anything wrong. They just kind of incited the play. And I think Hartenstein said it best. This is a passionate group, and teams are going to come for them every single night. And we just, have to keep our composure. And that's what happens when you're the best team in the league. They got to find something to, some angle to attack you with. And speaking of Hartenstein and his impact, he just put up 9 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. That's pretty insane. A near triple double with 20 boards is ridiculous. I know SGA's done that once early on in his career. Of course, Russell Westbrook's done that, and that takes effort, toughness, and that's also winning basketball. Like rebounding, assists is so underrated compared to scoring nowadays, and you need one guy that's willing to do that type of work, and especially without having Embiid on the other side of the court tonight, he's gonna be the having a big game, and he's my X factor for tonight for us. He's always really our X factor. I mean, the games we play with Hartenstein versus without Hartenstein are really telling, especially from a rebounding perspective, but he's just a connecting piece with the assists that he gets. And we can talk about the Philly side as well. They've got 39 wins, 32 losses, and honestly, they've been competing. They've won 4 of their last 5, and to really be real about the situation, they're missing Joel Embiid. They're missing Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul George possibly, and that's really their entire star core. And it's going to be a really completely different team that we're going to be going up against. And what I can do is give credit to them. Their young guys have stepped up. VJ Edgecombe is probably their X factor on their side. I mean, he's been balling in the last couple games, 22 points, 13 rebounds last game, 38 points the game before that. And he's been playing with a lot of confidence. And Nick Nurse has been leading the team on both ends. He's been a solid coach. And Quentin Grimes is another name that comes to mind. And Trendon Watford is another name as well. Watford gave them 20 off the bench. Quentin Grimes last game at 25. They can fill up the stat sheet. Even though they're shorthanded, I feel like they're still going to be competing against us. So we can't go into this game, thinking that we've got the game on lock. And I've got a couple of keys, to the game, key matchups for us. SGA versus the Philly defense. There's not really an elite perimeter stopper, so that's going to be a problem for them. If SGA gets comfortable early, I feel like the game's going to get out of hand. Chet and Hartenstein versus no Embiid on the other side. They don't really have, this is where OKC should dominate interior defense, rebounding, second chance opportunities. That's going to be a huge advantage for the Thunder. OKC Thunder depth versus Philly depth. I mean, OKC is just deeper, has more shooting, more defense, more versatility. That should win out. And the X factor, of course, for tonight, Jared McCAIN, revenge game, confidence is going to be high. I mean, if he gives us 15 to 20 points, that's just going to add another layer for our offense. And yeah, I mean, to keep the prediction pretty simple for us, this is going to be a tough spot for Philly. They've got a lot of injuries, too much OKC firepower, and MVP SGA is in town. And I feel like Thunder are going to easily take this one, and it could get out of hand if OKC has a fast start. I want you guys to drop your predictions in the comments below. Does McCAIN go off against his former team? Does SGA have another 30-plus night, 40-plus night? And can OKC extend this winning streak to 12 straight? Or do you guys think that we'll falter in this one? If you're new here, hit that subscribe for daily Thunder content. I'll catch you guys in the post-game recap. Peace out, guys.